This is Eric Alquizar Fernandez. This research proposal submitted in partial fulfillment of the requirements of DEVC 204. My research is going to be titled The Awareness of Dungguan Agricultural Farmers About Organic Farming. This study is to examine closely the level of awareness of agricultural farmers in Dungguan, Tawal, Maguindanao as regards organic farming, the ways in which they both fertilize and control pests in their farms will be looked into. Moreover, after their knowledge of the possibility of organic farming in agriculture, their responses will be uncovered. Definitely included amongst over 15 million Filipinos who still have no access to electricity are the Dungguan settlers. Most of their source of income has been agricultural farming. However, inasmuch as civilization is concerned, they may be not that outdated. Most of them, especially the young ones, manage to maintain a social networking like Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. But do they really fare well in terms of their source of livelihood, agricultural farming? Have they gotten rid of the Green Revolution, which brought problems to the world because of the use of inorganic or chemical fertilizers and pesticides? By the way, the Green Revolution refers to a series of research and development and technology transfer initiatives occurring between 1940s and the late 1960s that increased the agricultural production worldwide, particularly in the developing world, beginning most markedly in the late 1960s. Imagine that. Since then, agricultural farmers, especially in Dungguan, have resorted to that ways and will uncover if they still are. Have they also resorted to finding alternative sources for fertilizers and pesticides after prices of chemically produced fertilizers and pesticides have skyrocketed? How familiar are they of organic farming, which is the main concern of Organic Agricultural Act of 2010, or RA 10068? Now let's go to the theoretical framework of this study. The infusion of innovation theory can be utilized to image the connection between the farmers' motives and the perceptions and their eventual adoption of organic farming methods. The infusion is the process by which an innovation is communicated through channels over time among the members of a social system. Rogers, 1983, page 10. Stoneman, 2002, also defines the infusion as the process by which new technologies are spread across their potential markets over time. Page 3. Both definitions give an idea that the process of the infusion is an accumulative product of individuals' decision-making about the adoption of any innovation. On the one hand, adoption is the acceptance or the utilization of any given innovation by an individual or a firm, and on the other hand, the infusion is the pervasiveness of adoption of the innovation by a lot of individuals or the firms. Feather and O'Malley, 1983. The infusion is a macro-level concept which is centered on the factors that affect the spread of innovations across particular populations through time, while adoption is a micro-level concept that considers factors that affect an individual's decision to adopt or use any given innovation at a particular point in time. Sunding and Zilberman, 2001. Hence, to examine and compare individual farmers' possible adoption of organic production methods, the infusion of innovations theory must be narrowed down to the level of the individual, which is the level of adoption. Looking at this theory, several obvious variables are at play, including farming experience and age of farmers. However, other variables may also play a role in or influence what we are going to observe. It is possible that farmers with long farming experience may think they have better farming skills, making them to be more skeptical to new innovations, or innovations rather. They may think they have already learned better farming methods through time that may lead to their sticking to their old ways. They may feel awkward in accepting organic ways as they have been used to older ways. All of these potential explanations or variables need to be addressed for the results of this research to be valid. Let's start with the variables that are somehow related to the theory. First, the farming experience is what we are saying has the effect on their awareness of organic farming. We could say that farming history is therefore the cause, and the levels of their awareness are the effects. In this example, our independent variable, the variable we start with, or the input variable, is farming experience. Our dependent variable, or the variable we end up with, or the outcome variable, is the awareness about organic farming. We could add additional variable to our list to create more complex research. If we also looked at the effect of their educational attainment and the trainings or workshop they have attended, if there is any, their knowledge of farming would become a second independent variable. If we wanted to measure the length of time they spent schooling or attending seminars related to farming, this would become a second dependent variable. The concept of adoption from the fusion of innovations theory aids in delineating the problem of organic conversion among Dungguan agricultural farmers. An innovation, although considered a renaissance, like organic farming, is an idea, practice, or object that is perceived as new to potential adopters. The attributes of an innovation is relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, trialability, and observability greatly affect this adoption or its adoption. Agricultural organic farmers of various product sectors may perceive the nature of organic farming in different ways, which may in turn reflect distinction in organic farming's motives vis-a-vis their respective product sector. Through the framework afforded by the adoption theory, farmers' perceptions of organic farming and their motives in conversion can be compared. In a period of a month or two, hopefully we will be able to look into the variables that may affect the results of our study. This brings us to our conceptual framework, and we are going to use Innovation Decision Process by Rogers, 1995. Given in this framework are prior conditions, such as previous practice, felt needs or problems, innovativeness, norms of the social systems. In injecting knowledge, characteristics of the decision-making unit are going to be considered, such as social economic characteristics, personality variables, and communication behavior. And next to our communication channel is persuasion. Perceived characteristics of the innovation, which are relative advantage, compatibility, complexity, trialability, and observability, affects the decision making. And in decision, this leads us to two options, which are adoption or rejection. And in adopting, it could lead to continued adoption or discontinuance. Or if rejection, it could also lead to later adoption or later rejection. Next to decision is implementation, and then confirmation. Now let's talk about the methodology. In regards to the research design, this qualitative research wants to determine the level of awareness of the Dungguan agricultural farmers in regards organic farming, what farming methods they're using, and their perspectives in organic farming. There will be 714 respondents from among the 1,000 agricultural farmers of Dungguan to answer the questionnaire, which is to be translated to to Maguindanaon dialect should the need arise. They will be given the questionnaire and will be given at least 1 day to accomplish it. About 30 questions will be asked which are related to agricultural and organic farming. The 30 questions exclude the demographic profiling, of course. The questionnaire sheets are going to be personally handed to the respondents. Lastly, the data is going to be analyzed by viewing summaries of each survey question. After viewing the overall question summaries, rules to answer more specific questions about the collected data will be created. For example, compare rules will be employed to cross-tabulate the data to compare the answer choices to one question across the rest of the survey. Now let's talk about the respondents of the study. The respondents are going to be the agricultural farmers of Dungguan, Datumantawan, Maguindanao. All the respondents are male. They are all inhabitants from Dungguan, coming from different parts as Barrio, Dalum or Pawas, Toril, Butig, Central, and Lakig. Actually, I have visited the place, and the National Irrigation Administration is underway to starting their irrigation project, and I guess hopefully this will help the Dungguan agricultural farmers.